Hello everyone, my name is Asisipho Mbingeleli and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be answering a cells as the basic unit of life question from a previous grade 10 life sciences question paper. So we are going to be doing two questions. The first one is 1.4 with this diagram that is shown, and the second one will be 3.1. So both questions are under the topic cells as the basic unit of life. So let us go through this question, guys. The diagram below shows a cell organelle. So this is basically a tiny organ or an organelle or a tiny structure that we find within cells. 1.4.1, identify the diagram that is shown above. So identify the diagram that is shown above. So it's easy for us to see that this diagram is a mitochondria. Let me get my pen. Mitochondria. Okay, one mark for that. Then question 1.4.2, state two places where the diagram mentioned in 1.4.1 can be found. Name two places where we can find this particular diagram. So we can find this diagram in animal and plant cells. Excuse me, in animal and plant cells. So one mark for animal and one mark for plant cells. Then you need to explain in 1.4.3, explain the role of the above diagram to the places stated in 1.4.2. Basically, they are asking you to explain the role of the mitochondria in animal and plant cells. So this is where cellular respiration takes place, guys. Cellular respiration for plants and also animals take place in the mitochondria. So this is where glucose is broken down in the presence of oxygen in order to produce energy. So the role of the above diagram is to break down glucose molecule in the presence of oxygen to provide the cell with energy. So that's when we'll have oxygen reacting with glucose to produce energy, which is the main product of cellular respiration. And also water and carbon dioxide will be produced. Okay, so 1.4.4, give the name of the gas. You need to give the name of the gas that is used by this organelle for cellular respiration. The name of the gas is oxygen. So oxygen is the required gas that will break down glucose in order to produce energy. So let's see, to break down glucose molecule and energy, then oxygen. All right, so that's the first question, guys, out of 6 marks. Now let us move to the next question. This is the second question, guys, 3.1. The diagram below shows a plant cell. They sometimes don't tell you whether it's an animal or a plant cell, but in this particular question, they have told you that the diagram below is basically a plant cell. Now let's look at the questions. Name two useful substances that part B contains. Let us see what part B is. So this is part B, that's the vacuole. So name two substances that the vacuole contains. It contains sugars, so there'll be sugars there. There'll be minerals. It's actually for storage, guys, remember? So there'll be minerals, there'll be pigments and water. You can also find water there. All right, so just any two. Sorry. State one function of part C. One function of part C. Part C is the nucleus. So again, they're not asking you to identify the organelle or the structure, you just need to give the function. But obviously, before you give the function, you will need to be aware of what the structure is. So that's the nucleus, and the function of the nucleus is to control all activities within the cell. So control all activities of the cell. Or you can also talk about transmitting the DNA or hereditary characteristics from parents to offsprings. That's another option, to transmit or transfer hereditary characteristics from parents to offspring. Okay, so obviously it holds the genetic material of the cell. Give the letter and the name for 2 marks. They want you to give the letter and the name of the part that is selectively permeable, the part that selects which substances go in and out of the cell. Now, the correct answer is the cell membrane. And I don't like where this A is pointed because other learners may easily confuse it with the cell wall. So it should be nicely pointing the cell wall, and also this A should be nicely pointing the cell membrane. So the correct option, guys, it's A, but like I'm saying in our diagram, it's not pointing at the cell membrane nicely, but this is how it should be. Selectively permeable is the cell membrane, then the outer wall, that would be the cell wall. So the letter, oh, now I'm writing it on the wrong place. So the letter is A and the name is cell membrane. So it's a letter and a name. It will be 1 mark for the letter and 1 mark for the name. Last question. Explain one advantage for the cell having many part Ds. So explain for 2 marks one advantage for this cell having many chloroplasts. Part D is chloroplast. So what's the advantage of the cell having many chloroplasts? So obviously we know that in the chloroplast, this is where photosynthesis takes place. So many chloroplasts will obviously increase food production. So mainly of part D or chloroplast will increase food production because that is where photosynthesis takes place, will increase food production, whereby chloroplast containing the chlorophyll will absorb radiant energy for photosynthesis. So chloroplast, you'll have many chloroplast absorbing radiant energy, for photosynthesis, for plants to manufacture or to make food. So the more chloroplast a cell has, the more food is going to be produced. All right, that is our video, guys, for cells questions from previous question papers. Please remember to like this video, comment down below. Let me know which specific topics you would like me to answer, or rather post videos answering the question papers. And also please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Bye.